New
Bobby's Big
Stories.
A Missouri firefighter steals the wallet of a victim from the scene of a car crash.
Man.
First of all, shout out to all the firefighters. I feel like 99.9% of them are awesome, and they're out there risking their lives for us. But like anything else, there's always a dud or two, and this probably is one of those situations. A firefighter is admitted to stealing a victim's wallet after a car crash that killed 4 people, pocketing the cash, and then using his debit card. Arnold Britt, 40, pleaded guilty to receiving stolen property and fraudulent use of the credit card on Monday. He asked 7 Robinson Laney, 18, one of 4, to give him the wallet for identification, then never returned it. Dang. That is from the Daily Mail. That is not good. Oh. Every other firefighter, though, you rock.
Yeah.
But that's... Because, again, you're in a wreck. Of course you're going to give them probably anything. You're like, oh, my, just take my wallet. You know, you're not in a normal mind. Oh, man. U.S. dog owner, speaking of money, spent an average of $28,000 over the pet's lifetime. Ooh. U.S. dog owners spend that money, the study suggests, because it's food, vet visits, dog walkers, daycare, pet insurance. Owning a pet in America has never been more expensive. And then it talks about per state, California, number 1, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Washington. Oklahoma, the least expensive state to own a dog, costing residents $24,000 over a lifetime. That's a significant amount of money. When I call Arkansas Keith, who is my, used to be my stepdad, still feel like he's my stepdad. My mom died. They divorced before my mom died. But the first thing we talk about are his dogs. He's like, yeah, whichever one. He's got a bunch of bird dogs that are awesome. Yeah, that was always a big thing for us too, because we had a lot. We had deer dogs and bird dogs and a lot of hunting dogs, like that I would get really close to as animals, and I think that's why my love of dogs is now. Had a Boston Terrier once, not a hunting dog. Dogs are out of their mind because they're crazy, and so the Boston Terrier would sleep on my chest when I was a kid. My first dog. I never had a bedroom growing up. I slept on the couch in the living room, and so the dog would sleep on my chest. And that thing would have nightmares and bite me. It'd sleep on my chest. It'd go a little small. It'd wake up and just bite my nipple, bite my stomach. I still have a couple scars, small scars from my stomach on it. And I remember Arkansas Keith gave that dog to a friend of his because we couldn't keep it anymore because it bit somebody else. And it really wasn't a biting dog, except it bit me every day, I guess. It kind of was a biting dog. Yeah. I loved that dog so much. And I remember Arkansas Keith and my mom, and they were like, hey, the dog's name was Bradley. It was like, Bradley bit somebody. He's going to have to go live with Keith's friend from the mill, lives out of town. I was like, great. And so I remember I was telling my wife about it a couple years ago. And she was like, so you never saw him again? I said, no, he went and lived a life. She goes, that dog's not, I got news for you. I was like, what? She goes, that dog, no, they didn't give the dog. They didn't put the dog in a field and go live with. I was like, you're out of your mind. We called Arkansas Keith. Hey, what happened with that dog? And he goes, oh, it was aggressive. We had to shoot it. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because I was 40 years old when I learned that they were going to have to put the dog down anyway in the country. If a dog, you shoot the dog.
Because
the vet was going to put it down. Oh, yeah. No, here's the sad part. 1, that. 2, that I was 40 before I realized it. Yeah, that part sucked. But anyway, sorry about all the money you have to spend on dogs. I loved that dog, but it would bite like crazy. Only a matter of time for it bit somebody, though, other than me. But it got my nipple once, and I bled. Oof. Scientists reveal the ideal number of poops you should be doing each week for your health. Now, I would go 4 or 5 days at times at my unhealthiest. And then I would take, like, medicine for it. And I still have IBS. But it is complete stress-related IBS, I now have figured out, because I'm just so, like wound up all the time. It is stress-related. You're supposed to have 2 a day, which is...
perfect.
To me, that's like... how many steps supposed to get in a day? 1 million. That's what 2 of those a day is.
Wow.
Like someone getting 1 million steps in a day. So 2 a day if you're healthy. I do talk about it in my comedy act. I do take Metamucil. And it's awesome, and it works.
Every day?
Yeah, most days. And I take it, I do the cookies.
Oh.
And I'm going to let everybody know, if you're like me, I'm not embarrassed of this, because I've had a lot of struggle, and I've talked about my issues with just IBS. And I always thought IBS which is irritable bowel. I thought it would like itch. I thought they may get an itchy tummy. Like
Sounds like
it's
it.
irritated. But Metamucil has been a game changer for me. And I don't do commercials for Metamucil. I did have an endorsement with them once. That was awesome. A long time ago. But yeah, 2 times a day and you are healthy. And I don't want to get into poop talk with anybody. But I do think about that because I deal with that. A bride demands the bridesmaids take out a $20,000 loan to be in her wedding.
What?
I'm not going to be in the wedding and I'm not going to be her friend anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't, I've never even heard of this.
One bride is demanding her gal pals take out $20,000 in loans to participate in her posh pre-wedding escapades. Quote, here's the deal. My wedding in January 2025 at the fabulous Cipriani in Miami. Could be saying that wrong. And I have some expectations, reads the bulletin. She shared it. And it says a lot of stuff. A $700 dress fitting. Mostly it's if you don't have the money, I expect you to take a loan out.
Got it. Yeah.
Because everything costs about $20,000. I'm going to pass on that one. That's how much a dog costs. You can have a dog or you can be in the wedding. One of the two. And then finally, is it okay for someone who's rich to lie about the money they have on a first date? That is the question that they're asking.
Interesting.
If somebody's rich, is it okay if they lie and act like they're not? Or is that a lie? And you shouldn't lie.
I'm
Go
trying
ahead.
to figure out how this comes up on a first date. So how much money do you have?
I don't think it's that, but I think it could be a car you drive, a place you go. I think there could be a lot of things where if you were rich, you could really just go complete uptown, black car, go to a fancy restaurant, or we're going to go to a little hole-in-the-wall Mexican place, and I'm going to drive a normal car, and I'm going to talk about my job as if it's a normal person job, not some crazy finance job.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
It is a lie, though.
Why? What if you like all those things?
No, but the point is they're doing it to make sure the person's not dating them for their money, but they are being
Yeah.
dishonest about it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I feel like if you're just making certain choices to just be, normal-ish.
But you're not really normalish in real life.
Well, what are they going to do if they pass the test and suddenly
You're
they
not
get
using
this
them for their money.
glam life?
Well, it would be, I trust that you're not using me for my money.
That's got to be a difficult situation to be in. I don't know. I've not ever been in it, so I'm not sure what it's like to wonder, is someone with me right now just because of my money? And that would be really hard. So I guess I'm saying it's okay.
This is what I'm going to do. In the podcast today, because we do a supplemental podcast where we get to talk about things longer, I will talk about my experience with this because
Okay.
it was, when I was young, I had to fake like I had any money. Well, first of all, nobody wanted to go on a date with me. Let's be honest. For the first 25 years of my life. Then I started to have medium success. Then success grew. Then I started to be kind of embarrassed. And I would have to do a situational thing like this. I'll talk about it in the podcast if you guys want to hear it. It'll be very honest. I won't hold anything back. But you can hear that. Go search for the Bobby Bone Show podcast probably around noon today, and you can hear that conversation. Okay? All right, that's the news.
Those were Bobby's Big
Stories.
Cowgirls from Morgan Wallen and Ernest. Everybody, thanks for listening. We appreciate you. we go to Tucson, Arizona, and we go and we hang out at the University of Arizona and their football program. They have a coach, Coach Brent Brennan. It's his first year there. I love the dude. In his picture, his office, he has a picture, and it's of a text message, that symbol, the green symbol with the little like bubble in it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a number 1,624 unopened on that picture. So he has it framed. Like he had 1,624 unopened text messages. He screenshots it, frames it in his office. And so I had to ask about it. And I loved what he said. I thought it was so good, I wanted to bring it here. Listen to this.
That's within like 36 hours after getting this job. I had that many text messages. My point to the team is like when something good happens for you, like everybody reaches out. And when something bad happens, you don't hear from anybody. And their lives as football players, it's like that. Make a good play, social media, 5,000 hits. You make a bad play, 5,000 really bad stuff too. And so, it's a message for them, like, just don't give your power away to the social media world, your telephone, that part of it, because it's so fleeting. And really all that matters are the people that are in this building and the people that you love and respect.
And I think that translates so out of football as well. Because he's like, hey, when everything good's happening, people are coming, oh, you're the best, great job. And when it's not so good, there's nobody around. But that really shouldn't affect your day. The people that matter are like your people that are there all the time and that are consistent.
Yeah, I love that.
And he just got the job this year. And I just thought it was so cool he had that framed in his office.
I'd be like, you got 1,000 something texts?
That's what I said. You got that many friends?
That many people have your number?
That's what I said. And it was just like, hey, things are good, things are bad, but like, you know who your people are. You take care of them, they take care of you, and don't give all your power to like social media. Don't give all your power to people you don't know. Don't give all your power to comparison on social media, even with people that you don't really know that you kind of feel like you know. And so I thought it was pretty amazing. I love that dude, Arizona coach Brent Brennan. We also asked these coaches, because these are football guys, we're like, who's your Mount Rushmore of like favorite musical artists? It's so funny to hear their responses because sometimes you're like, really? Here's this.
I'm a 90s hip hop guy, so that would be some version of NWA, Tupac, Snoop.
You're cheating.
Somewhere.
You're cheating.
I know.
You're cheating.
Picking
you gotta pick one.
Probably be Snoop. Three more? Bob Marley.
Yes.
Okay. I would say like Beach Boys' greatest hits. And then I would also throw in, Pearl Jam.
I love this
10,
guy.
Some kind of.
I mean, Bob Marley, Pearl Jam, Beach Boys. This is my dude.
So, yeah, Snoop.
Snoop, this is my guy.
Just so funny. He's like a football coach, like white dude, big tall guy, grayish hair, and he's like Snoop, Bob Marley.
He struggled even getting a Snoop because of NWA and Tupac.
It's so crazy. We have a show called 25 Whistles, and this was up. We interviewed Coach Brent Brennan from Arizona. I'm in. I'll go play for him right now.
Oh, I think you've aged out.
Okay.
I don't think you age out.
Well,
True,
Bobby has.
There's older people that can go back.
I don't
Amy, so that was rude.
Hey, Chris Winkie, Florida State, 28 years old.
Yeah, but you're not 28.
That's true, too.
And
hey, you said that you made fun of me because I always train. What's on my desk right now?
the
Say it.
MVP from the All-Star Celebrity Softball game.
And I trained. I was ready. And if you're always ready, you never got to get ready.
Mm-hmm. That's what they say.
Anyway, I love that dude. Go listen to that whole interview. It's with Arizona coach Brent Brennan. But like, I get it. These guys are the great coaches are real leaders of young men. And like even being with him, I was like, oh, I see why people love him. We'll like run through a wall for him.
You're inspired.
And he wasn't even trying to inspire us. He was just talking about his life and the things that he's been through and his philosophies and beliefs. And there's a picture of me on my Instagram because we work out with these teams and in an Arizona helmet. And it's like, it's the wrong A on me because I wear Arkansas A. But like, if Arkansas didn't exist, I would consider it.
For him.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I want to play Cody Johnson, Dirt Cheap, Bobby Bones Show. Here's the question. When's too old to party? What age should you stop partying?
Partying, like define partying.
A weekend where once a month you go out and you get drunk.
Oh, 40.
Okay. You just eclipsed that, so you're saying you are done or you should be done?
I should be done. I shouldn't be going out once a month, getting drunk at a club.
Amy?
Yeah, I know. Like
A
you have
club, though, is
kids.
weird. Okay, what about going to a bar? What's the age? Because that was a
man.
part of the story, too, was at what age should people stop going to, like, a bar where people go to a bar? Not going to a bar just have a drink, adult, but, like, bars.
Like a crowded bar. Like
down here where we
Yeah.
live, it's like Broadway. It used to be 6th Street in Austin. Memphis, it's, you get it.
Gosh, I don't want to put an age limit on that.
Ooh,
But when do people start to look at you and go, you're too old to be here?
at 40.
You think that's 42?
Yeah.
I'd say it's even younger than that.
Because I go in and I'm like, man, people are looking at me like, dude, what are you doing here?
I would
Yeah.
say it's like 35, 33.
Isn't it all in how you behave there, though?
No, because I behave like a cool, like, youngin'.
That's what
but-
you
Well, that's the problem, is that he thinks that.
And then you're in the corner staring at people, and you're in your the outfit, your vibe, that all makes a difference. 'Cause
But
you can't-
it's harder when you're older because, like, I'm
You have to go
married.
harder.
No, but you're married, so you can't just be dancing. Like, when you're younger, if you're, like, not married and you're 35, you can still dance with chicks. At 40, or 42 now, I can't go up to chicks and just start dancing with them because I'm married. It's like, that's a little weird.
yeah.
Morgan, you're kind of the last one of us. You're the last of us.
Yeah.
When's a guy get creepy, generally speaking? At what age do you feel like a guy is creepy in the bar?
It's somewhere in the 30s. I guess it depends on kind of like, are they graying? Like what they kind of their look is, that I could kind of tell the creepiness factor. But I do feel like the older they get, the lack of game starts to play in. Like they just don't know how to talk as much to women. I've seen that happen a lot, experienced that a lot. And I've also seen like guys take off their wedding rings at bars, and that's creepy.
Well, you've watched them do
Whoa.
that in the
Oh
bar.
yeah, I've watched
That's
him do
tough.
it. I've experienced it like firsthand. Some guy tried to sneak it and shove it in his pocket while he was talking to me.
Why would you just not take it off before you go to the bar?
It's like they're like, well, maybe, and then
You
if
don't
they
think about
see
it.
someone,
It's like
they're
robbing
like,
a store with your driver's license in your pocket. Like, leave that at home because it might fall out and then they'll find you. Have you ever, Morgan, talked to a guy and realized later he was married and he wasn't telling you the truth?
Yes,
Dang.
on multiple occasions.
That
I had to like dig too. I'd be like, okay, so like tell me, and they'd be kind of sketchy, and then I'd finally be like, okay, there's something I'm not getting here, and they're like, yeah, I have a wife, and I'm like, okay.
So then let me ask you this. Is there a goal, if they take their ring off, is there a goal to cheat on their like to have sex with you that night and then for you to never know?
Yeah,
Got
like
it.
a one night stand situation. I would
Not like
imagine.
a whole relationship, like an affair. A guy goes to a bar and takes his ring off because he's just trying to have sex that night with somebody.
Yeah, and especially in Nashville, he's probably visiting.
Mm.
So he's really trying to do something just for the weekend, get away, and then go back home, and life is normal.
And I guess I'm just trying to play it out in my head, and I guess that you would not take your ring off all the time because what if there's a picture that somebody takes of you guys out and your ring's not on the picture? And you're only
Oh.
taking it off whenever it's time to go into finger quotes, old man action.
that way you can pull it out of your pocket, I guess, too.
I
if
guess.
You need to. In case somebody shows up.
Did you ever like a guy not knowing he was married? Be like, oh, this guy's cool, and then find out he was married.
I don't think that part has ever happened. The flags are typically there pretty quickly if they're trying to hide something.
Like the tan on the ring finger where the ring was. They're hiding that with their hand too. How many guys here wear, because I was an idiot. I got married, by the way, 3 years yesterday. Awesome. It's been great. I posted a little post. I was like, year 1 is paper. Year 2, not even sure, rubber. I know year 3 is leather. And so I think I put on the post like year 3, I don't know. I said something sweet, I don't remember. But 3 years together, and I was working. We went to San Francisco yesterday, and it was super cool. We hung out with Steve Young, the quarterback. And so my wife was like, awesome, that's important to you. And then we're going to do some stuff this weekend for our anniversary. But 3 years feels like yesterday. And because she's been sick, been dealing with some illness for a couple years now. And it feels like 10 years at the same time. Like the awesomeness feels like we just got married. But at the same time, the great part about feeling like 10 years is I've never really had anything in my life that has been consistent for me and lasted that long. And I know good or bad is going to be there. I'm tough to be married to. it's like she married a child in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to like my emotional intelligence, because it's never had to develop, because as a kid I didn't really have a bunch of family, never really had a serious girlfriend or wife, or never got engaged, never lived with any female or woman, and so she was the first one for me. So she had to deal with a lot of that infancy. Still has to at times, where I don't even realize what a partner is supposed to do in a relationship. And so, yeah, I was pretty grateful. I was pretty grateful last night, because we didn't do much last night. We got in at yesterday like 4 or so, and we had dinner normal, because we're going to do stuff this weekend. We watched Game of Thrones, the prequel, House of Dragons, which, by the way, is fine. Not loving it like season 1. Then we started watching a new show called Sunny. Mike, you watched Sunny yet?
Where's that?
Can't talk about it yet.
Well, he can talk about it. He just can't review it.
Oh.
Yeah, Tuesday reviews day, but it won't be over. It's in the middle of the season.
It's not a full review. It's just a teaser.
Yeah, well, no, we started episode 1. I think there are 3 episodes out now. Don't know how many it is, but you know in The Office, when Jim and Pam aren't together, and Jim, his girlfriend for a while, comes from another branch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jones. Quincy Jones is some granddaughter or
yes.
something.
Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones, yeah.
She's a smoke
She's
show.
she's it, and the whole plot is, we've only watched 1 episode. The whole plot is that she lives in Japan. She married her husband over there, and they're gone. There's a plane crash, and they're gone. But he was developing some sort of like technology robot, and she has a robot, like a house robot, like a Roomba, but a little more developed. And I don't know what's happening with her and the robot, but that robot's about to do something.
What?
I don't know. Dude, it's my kind of show, and they're only like 35 minutes. But Caitlin picked it out.
So it's like that movie Her.
It says, living in Kyoto, Japan, a woman's life is turned upside down after her husband and son disappear in a mysterious plane crash. As consolation, she receives Sunny, a domestic robot made by her husband's electronics company. I don't know what this robot's up to, good or bad, but I'm so into this show, and I've only watched 36 minutes of it.
Does the robot, now I'm picturing an actual Roomba. It looks like.
No, it looks like
Does it
the
look-
Michelin Man, but with a round head.
Okay.
Just not as
like
tall.
This little circle that's zooming around.
Yeah, I pictured the vacuum
But
cleaner.
the
too.
bottom of it looks like that. It moves around like a Roomba.
Yeah.
And then, I'm telling you, that show, Presumed Innocent, that's what it's called, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It has 1 more episode left. It might be the show of the year.
With Jake Gyllenhaal.
It has.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
It used to be a Harrison Ford movie. It used to be a book. Might be the show of the year.
Wow.
1 episode left. Next Wednesday, I think the last episode comes out. If you haven't started it and you have Apple Plus, it's really uncomfortable the first couple episodes. It's uncomfortable for me. Because it's like he's married and he's, this is all in the description. He's married, but he's cheating on his wife. And then the person he's cheating with, ends up dead. And he's got to go to trial, but his whole wife has got to what? It's so good. I do not know how it's going to end. I will not look up spoilers. Maybe the show of the year.
It's on my list.
Can't review it on Tuesday because Tuesday's Reviews Day, and it comes out
Correct.
after that. But
The following Tuesday you can.
so that's what's up. Watch out for married dudes. My point.
I think the original point was how old is too old to go to the
Yeah, 35.
bar.
He says
Or
40.
get drunk.
She says a little 31, 30. I'm gonna go right in the middle, 35.
Yeah.
If you're gonna party at home, or at an adult bar where there aren't 21-year-olds.
Yeah, and I like the part hanging out at home and like at 4 p.m.
Is that the same for
You want
women?
to drink at 4 p.m.?
Whoa.
Happy hour.
Let's have a talk.
No,
we need to have a little talk with
what?
Amy after
no,
this.
a cocktail with your friends on your porch at 4 or 5. That's more my vibe now than staying out late and going.
Oh yeah, I get
yeah.
that vibe.
Yeah.
Like you said, like every day at 4 o'clock.
No.
Although I feel like cocktail's kind of a frou-frou thing to say about a drink. Because where I
Okay.
come from, nobody said cocktail.
No,
But
you
nobody
just-
also had drinks other than beers or like whiskey.
Yeah, I didn't know they were called cocktails either till you get older.
That movie Cocktail, Tom Cruise.
That's a good one.
And like I really like Colin Cowherd, and he calls them cocktails, and I feel like he's like elevated a bit, like in a good way. And he's like, I have a cocktail, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that sounds cool.
Well, I think cocktails can be really fancy and elevated, but they also can just be sparkling water and Tito's, like in a glass.
We can just call that a drink.
Sure.
we all Coke, soda, pop. You know.
Yeah.
Cocktail feels like somebody that's really educated.
Yeah.
They call it cocktail. What do you call it, Morgan? If you're gonna have a
You emphasis.
Well, I see them differently. Like a drink is like a vodka Sprite or a beer, and if I'm having a cocktail, it has multiple ingredients. It's made. It was curated in a different way.
Well,
Dang, curated.
I'm a
Talk about-
poser.
Fancy
Kansas,
drink.
Kansas State over there showing out.
Oh.
I've had lots of drinks in my life.
Okay, so we're going to settle this at 35. Don't go to the 21-year-old bars anymore. If you have a wedding ring, take it off before you go to the bar. but really don't do that at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I love my wife. And I'm very happy for her. And I can't believe that she has put up with me for this long.
And happy 3 years.
Thank you.
And what are you getting that's leather?
Chaps.
I got some shoes.
A football?
No, I got her some shoes.
Okay.
A football would be hilarious.
Oh, that's
Sign
funny.
football.
No, she told
Don't.
me. I'll tell it on the podcast. I have a funny story about after I won the MVP at the celebrity softball game. I called her and told her when her response back to me, which is why, again, I'm very grateful for her. But sometimes I'm like, oh. I'll do that on the podcast of today's show after the show is over. All right, hold on a minute.